Well, hello, and how are you doing, everybody, today? I'm glad to share with you some of my knowledge about Excel. This is our very first video in multiple videos that are coming your way in order to understand and be familiar with Excel. It's way too powerful of an application software to not use it in probably in every day in our life. Uh, Quickly, I wanted to introduce you to a spreadsheet as an application software. It does three main functions, in my opinion. The very first one is to allow you to crunch numbers. So all sort of calculation you could not imagine how powerful is Excel behind the scene. The second thing is to do chartings. As we all know, a picture worth 1,000 words, but a chart worth 1,000,000 numbers. And the third one we're going to see through these videos is the what if analysis, being able to decide on something, come up with an outcome, and based on that outcome, we want to decide whether we want to change something or add something or remove something. All sort of action can be applied without any cost directly in the spreadsheet in order to enhance our decision making. So basically, or conceptually, this is really what Excel, but practically, you will see there's a lot of things that is going to be available for us. So to make it a short videos, I'm trying to stick with my videos no more than 10 minutes. I wanted to go ahead and enlarge the zoom here, make it a little bit over 200 so I'll be able to see the cells. And this is my very first sheet. I'm going to click on the right button to rename it, and I'm going to call it practice one. And also, I use a different color for my sheets. I'm going to go ahead and use the red color for the first one. And you notice the spreadsheet is divided into columns and rows. And the columns and rows intersect at certain address. It's going to be referred to as the cell address. So in this case, we have A1, and we have here C7, we have here J6, and we have here M7, and here we go with A17. You would wonder how many cells we have per sheet. If I told you that we have a little bit over 1,000,000 rows and a little bit over 16,000 columns, if you multiplied those two values, 1,000,000 rows with 16,000, a little bit over 16,000, then you're going to find also a little bit over 17 billion cells in per sheet. Let's go ahead and do it mathematically. As we all know, if we started with equal sign, which I want to elaborate on that and what that means later, is 1,000,000 is almost, because we use really basically the power, the base of 2, so it's basically 2 raised to the power of 20, and that is multiplied by 16,000, a little bit over 16,000. You will notice this is going to give me this much. Now, 16.7 billion, if we notice here, we have, if we wanted to go ahead and do this one here, so we have, yeah, 9 digit to the right of the 6, so that's going to be a billion. And of course, if you multiply this for a little bit more than that 16,000, it might give you almost 17 billion cells. So we have plenty of room, and you'll be surprised that with this age of big data, maybe this is not enough. So Excel already prepared itself to handle the future by adding different features that is going to really uh, blow our mind when it comes to that video. Anyway, quickly, I wanted you to see, I'm going to go ahead and delete this. There is one file menu. Uh, this is associated with the book as a whole, the file that is going to be saved, whether in your OneDrive or it's going to be saved in your hard disk or on your jump drive or any virtual storage medium. So this has to do with saving the file, saving it by giving it a name or printing it, closing the file. Later, we're going to be exposed also to the options where we're going to tweak Excel and modify it to our need. And of course, every other thing that you see here, starting with the home, the insert, I added the draw. You could add a lot of other things, of course. This didn't come by default. And we have formula, data review, view, also developer, I added it. and of course help. And this is also the power feature that I mentioned earlier that enhance the capacity and the capability of Excel. So this is really very, very amazing because I like to call those ribbon. Some people call them tab. It doesn't matter what you call them, but you notice here, home, it has its own many feature that we really use directly with the cells. Later, you will notice that insert has additional objects that will work with your Excel spreadsheet, such as, for example, adding a word art, or adding a chart. All these going to be really add on the top of the sheet that we're going to work with. Of course, a lot of other features that we're going to discuss later. This is the very beginning, so let's go ahead and take it easy at this time. So notice in this case, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to the fact that initially there is a cell and what goes inside the cell. This is the in the outline, as you notice. We're going to say there is a number, a numerical value. So 9 is going to be aligned to the right. If I say here, Roderick, okay, this is a text or a name. It's going to be aligned to the left. And also what goes in here, say if I say here 9, 23, and 2021, that's the date, as you notice. For a second, if you notice that the date didn't show because of the pound signs or the hashtags, simply because we don't have enough width in the columns in order to show it. No big deal. You could go onto the top of this and click on it twice, and you should be able to enlarge the width of the columns in order to display the data. The same thing, other things could go there. As you will notice, if we started with, let's say, equal sign, that is going to tell Excel we're about to either give you a calculation, a formula, or a function. So there we're going to go ahead and differentiate between a formula and a function. If I have, for example, here, let me go ahead and create it on the spot. I have 5 here and I have 6 here. So if I wanted to go ahead and add these two and find their average manually, then I will have to go ahead and do this plus this. Now, the reason that I'm not typing the 5 and the 6, as you will see later, because I need to be able to focus on the most, in my opinion, important feature in Excel, which is that automatic recalculation. So if I change my mind about the 5 or the 6, I need to use the cell address, just like a variable. If you have taken college algebra, that will assume many values. A9 will be assuming all sorts of values. So you really need to think if that is a variable or is that going to be a constant. If it's a constant, you don't have to even put it in a separate cell. You could directly include it in the calculation. Anyway, so let's go ahead and do this. And we're going to go ahead and add those two numbers and divide it by 2. And you will notice this is the average is 5.5. The other way of doing it is to use a function that is a keyword that built inside Excel associated with certain processes. And this is going to allow me to do the same thing. And the difference between this is a formula and this is a function. Of course, you will ask me which one is better. I'll always advise my students to go ahead and use a function if it's available. Of course, if there is no function, you will be actually forced to use the formula as a result. So let's make sure that we understand the difference between a formula and a function. There are hundreds, maybe over 1,000 functions in Excel. And you will notice there are here under the tab, it's called formulas. And you will notice there is financial function, logical function, text function, date function, lookup reference function, and of course the common function that has to do with sum and average and other type of function like minimum and maximum. So this is basically a quick introduction to the very first video, just to get you familiar with the fact that we will be able to actually see Excel for its potential which is really powerful. Maybe you could sense I'm a little bit biased toward Excel, but that really is going to save you a lot of time in the long run. Thank you for watching, and we're going to continue with future videos. As I said earlier, I don't want to really make up very long videos. Maybe 10 minutes, around 10 minutes, that would be good. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.